Greetings gamers, Agent SN, and I'm here back with uploading. Now you might be wondering why I've been uploading less and less this summer, and that's mainly because I've been on vacation a lot, and I've gone back home a lot, then come back like a week or two later. Yeah, I've been pretty busy, but here I'm back with uploading, and anyways though, today I'm going to be talking about my personal least favorite game of every Nintendo franchise, yes. So about 2 months ago we did my favorites. Now I'm going to do the opposite with doing my least favorites. I want to show you guys my least favorites. Now note, not all of these are bad games. They're just my least favorite ones, the one that I enjoyed the least. I mean, some of them are bad and some of them are good. So yeah, and some are middle of the road. But without further ado, let's go on with this video. In 3, 2, 1, let's go! Alright, so starting off we have Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, my least favorite mainline Mario game. The Lost Levels is... Well, back in my Every Mario Game Review series, I said the game was okay, but you know, after rethinking, the game is kind of bad. The game is not very good. The Lost Levels is just kind of bad. Now, normally difficulty would be a good thing, but this game is just way too hard and too unfair to the point where it's not fun anymore. This game just isn't fun because... I mean, everything. Normally the difficulty is a good thing, but with this game it's not because it's too extreme. So yeah, and this game just tries to be unfair, and its biggest problem is that it just feels like a bad version of Mario 1, or the original Super Mario Bros. And introduced the poison mushroom. Like, who thought of the poison mushroom? And the level is just... The level design just sucks overall. I don't like the level design. It's just not very good, and the game feels unfair at times, and it's way too unfair, and warp pipes can send you back sometimes, and yeah. In fact, this game was never localized until Super Mario All-Stars on the SNES. You wanna know why? Because Nintendo of Japan thought, hey, this game is too hard for Western people. Let's not localize it and release Oki Panic instead. Yes, this game was just so hard to the point where this game was kept in Japan. And like I said, normally normally a game being hard would be a good thing, but with this, it's not, because it takes it to the extreme by making it so unfair. And the level design just is bad overall. Like, I hate the level design. And it feels so unfair. It feels like I'm playing Kaizo Mario Bros. 1, basically. Okay, without further ado, let's just get on with Mario Kart. Alright, so now we're on to Mario Kart. And of course, you guys expected Mario Kart Tour. Mario Kart Tour, I mean, it's a mobile game, so of course it's going to be my least favorite. I mean, mobile games. I mean, I don't really like mobile games. I'm not really much of a mobile gamer. I'm all about consoles and PC, obviously. And of course, mobile games are full of microtransactions and pay to win, which this game is full of. I mean, and of course, it's a mobile game, so of course, yep. And the idea of it's pretty good, but it kind of has a bad execution with it. So this game is actually not bad. It's okay. Mario Kart Tour, it's okay, I guess. It's a 6 out of 10. It's definitely an okay game. I mean, the gacha and stuff kind of ruins it for me, but if you ignore it, it's fun. But yeah, it's an okay game. 6 out of 10. So the Lost Levels, that one's like a 3 out of 10. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is. Alright, now let's get on with... Alright, now we're on to Mario Party. Now, the Mario Party Okay, sorry with the stuttering. Okay, anyway though, Mario Party is a series that I have, I'm not quite a love-hate relationship with it. I mean, I love the Hudson Soft games, but when it goes to the IndieCube ones, I'm not really into them. I mean, I didn't play 9 or 10 because of the stupid car, but maybe I'll give 9 a try one day. And I wasn't interested in Super because I heard how lacking it was. And for the handheld ones, well, I wasn't really into Island Tour, but then I played Star Rush, and it's okay, I guess. It's an okay game. It's about, well, actually, it's mediocre. It's really mediocre. It's probably a 5 out of 10 game. My biggest problem with it is that it's not really a Mario Party game. Well, it is, but it doesn't feel like one. It feels like a Toad Party that focuses too much on the Toads. And that's basically my problem with it. I mean, some of the mini games are fun, but they get kind of repetitive after a while. And yeah, the game doesn't have too much variety, but it can still be fun at times. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of the IndieCube Mario Party games. And this is the only one I've actually played. I didn't even touch the top 100 after being disappointed with this game. I mean, it's fun at times. It focuses way too much on the Toad Scramble and stuff, and yeah, it just feels like a Toad Party and stuff. And it can kind of get dull at times, so yeah. But let's get on with... Alright, so now we move on to Mario and Luigi. Now all the games we've seen so far are games that are either bad or okay. This is actually the first good game I'm covering here on this video. Mario Luigi Paper Jam is actually a pretty good game. It's an 8 out of 10. Not the best game ever, but it's a pretty good game. However, it is my least favorite in the Mario and Luigi series. How repetitive it is. Mostly because the gameplay and story is less interesting than the rest of the series, but it's still pretty good. This game overall is still a good game. It's an 8 out of 10 game. I really like this. I mean, I actually had a lot of fun with this game. It's just my least favorite because the other 4 games had more variety and they were more interesting, and they didn't have and they weren't as repetitive as this one. This one has a lot of repetitiveness with the paper Toad collecting and stuff. And yeah, and the story can be a little generic at times, but still pretty good. I mean, once again, good game, 8 out of 10. Yeah. Now, and I highly recommend this game, but it is my least favorite in the entire series, but it did not disappoint me too much. And the game is actually pretty good. And it's actually a good game. It's just my least favorite for being less interesting than the rest of the series. So let's go on with... Alright, so next up we have Paper Mario Sticker Star, and... Ew, I do not want to talk about this game, but here we go. Paper Mario Sticker Star, it is just a bad game. I mean, it ruined... Well, almost ruined Paper Mario for me. I mean, Car Splash was okay, and the Origami King was actually pretty good. But Sticker Star is really bad, honestly. And why is this game bad? Well, because because it just wasn't Paper Mario. It focused too much on the paper than it being an RPG, and that's the problem. Nintendo basically they didn't want it to be an RPG because they thought it would just be a clone of the Thousand Year Door. I mean, but even if it plays like the Thousand Year Door, it won't be a clone. I mean, it would live up to the masterpiece for sure with its gameplay, but it doesn't have to be a clone of the Thousand Year Door anyway, though. Paper Mario Superstar, it's just a bad game. I mean, now it's bad about it. Well, it's because it's just way less interesting, and the story is bland. And the biggest problem here is, well, the settings though is pretty good. The setting though is pretty good, and the music is absolutely amazing. I love the game's music. However, the gameplay sucks. I mean, you know those amazing gameplay? I mean, the interesting turn-based mechanics from the first two games, or that platforming action RPG hybrid from Super Paper Mario? Well, both of those are completely gone in this game. This game just removed all the Paper Mario charm, all the interesting and funny characters, and the gameplay just isn't good. I mean, in fact, using stickers, and you just get coins and stuff when you fight. I mean, and you don't gain XP anymore, whatever. Yeah, stickers are, it's just not really fun. And it split the game up into levels. And the linearity just wasn't a good idea. The game's way too linear, and the gameplay sucks with the sticker mechanic. And there's not really any point of fighting unless it's with bosses. So you'd want to save your stickers for those. Yeah, Sticker Star, it's not fun. I don't like, I mean, I played the game, I beat the game, but I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to it. Or at least for now. I mean, Sticker Star, I can't really stand this game. Alright, it's been 3 minutes of me ranting about Sticker Star, but let's just move on. Alright, so next up we have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which is also called Luigi's Mansion 2 in the rest of the world. Well, it's called Dark Moon here in North America, but if you live in Europe, Australia, Japan, whatever, it's called Luigi's Mansion 2 there. Anyway though, this game now, just like Paper Jam, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is a pretty good game. It's actually a really great game. I mean, I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's actually one of the best games I've, on this list so far. It's actually, well, actually no. So far, this actually is the best game on this list so far. And I highly recommend this game if you have a 3DS. And the multiplayer mode and the story mode are both really fun. However, I do think that the first Luigi's Mansion is better because it had more charm to it and more interesting gameplay, and it's more open world, even though it wasn't really an open world game. But the reason why Dark Moon is my least favorite, even though I really like the game, is mainly because of it being mission-based and stuff. So yeah, I do think that the first game was better since it wasn't like mission-based, but yeah. So Luigi's Mansion 3, I really liked how it was. I was much bigger with its hotel, but Dark Moon is actually a really great game. But it's my least favorite for it being mission-based. But this game still had a lot of interesting mechanics with it being in multiple mansions. The ghosts are really cool. Yeah, still a really great game. Highly recommend it. But it is my least favorite for it being mission-based and stuff. And I do think the first game, the third game, had more fun and charm to it, and better gameplay. But this one's still a pretty good game. Let's go on with... Alright, so next up we have the very first Yoshi game on the NES. Now this game is a pretty good game. It's actually a really fun puzzle game on the NES and Game Boy. However, I do think that the island games and World of Craft are way better. Now, yeah. I think that Yoshi's Island DS, Yoshi's Wood World, Yoshi's Craft World, Yoshi's Island, I think all of those are better, well, besides New Island. New Island, well, I haven't actually played it, so I don't really know. But I don't think it would be, better than this. Anyway, though, this game's actually pretty good. It's just, now, this game is actually a really fun puzzle game, and it's probably my favorite puzzle game on the NES. either this or Dr. Mario. It's a really good 8 out of 10 game, but it is my least favorite, because I do think that the Yoshi games I have played, which are the platforming ones, I think those are way better. But yeah, still a good game. Alright, so next up we have Wario's Woods for my least favorite Wario game, even though the main character is Toad. Now, I've played Wario Land 3, and I've played WarioWare Touch, WarioWare DIY, and I played WarioWare on the GameCube, and I think all those games are better, but this one is still pretty good, and this one's actually pretty good and pretty underrated. But it is my least favorite in the series, because I do think that there's, of course, better games that are Wario. So, yeah. Alright, so now we're on to Donkey Kong. Now my... It was also the last Mario spin-off I'm covering in this video. Anyway, though, Donkey Kong 3, it's once again, it's underrated, and it's actually a pretty good game. But it's not as good as the original Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. Those were much better for their gameplay, but Donkey Kong 3 is still pretty fun. And the other Donkey Kong games I've played are way better, but yeah, still a good game, as always. I just think that the others are better. But for a side-scrolling game, it's still pretty good, even though it just felt way too different. So yeah, let's move on to... Alright, so now we're on to Pokemon. Now this one is probably a surprising pick, because my least favorite Pokemon game is actually the very first one I played, and that is Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. As Pokemon Diamond was actually my very first Pokemon game. Now, here's the thing, I actually really like Gen 4. Gen 4 is actually pretty good, but it's my least favorite generation because of how slow it is, and because I think the other generations are more interesting overall. I think the other generations are more interesting overall, so yeah. And my biggest problem with Diamond and Pearl is that it runs too slow and stuff. And for Platinum is better. I'd probably give that one a 9 out of 10. Well, actually, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. And I can't wait for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which I'll be definitely getting Brilliant Diamond. And anyway, though, I think that overall the regions and Pokemon and evil teams and everything are more interesting in your generation. So this is why, Diamond and Pearl are my least favorite. here's the thing, I do not hate these at all. I do not hate Diamond or Pearl at all. I don't hate them at all. They're actually pretty good games. They're pretty good games, 8 out of 10 games. Well, Platinum is 8.5 out of 10. And we'll see with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl when that comes out November 19th, so we'll be getting. So yeah, let's move on to... Alright, so now we move on to Metroid. Now I've played 5 Metroid games. I've played the original on the NES, I've played Super Metroid, I've played the entire Prime trilogy, so I've played the original Metroid Prime, I've played Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, I've played Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and I will eventually play the rest. I'm eventually going to play Zero Mission, Fusion, Samus Returns. Those 3 are all on my backlog, and I'll get to them hopefully soon. So my least favorite out of the ones I've played is the original Metroid, of course. It's actually a really great game. I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10. However, Super Metroid is way better, and which that one is a 10 out of 10 game. And Metroid Prime trilogy, like all 3 games are probably better. So yeah. I like Metroid on the NES, but the others are better. All the ones I've played are better. Alright, so we move on to Xenoblade. Now I've played Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, so I can play the first Xenoblade Chronicles, the main game, and Future Connect. I've beaten both, and I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna of the Golden Country the whole way through. Both of those I played the whole way through, of course, so Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Torna. And I still haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles X yet. So out of the 3 games I've played, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna of the Golden Country, I'd probably say that Torna of the Golden Country is my least favorite. Now, it's a really good game, but Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 are way better for sure, which both are definitely masterpieces. I love both of them. And the first Xenoblade Chronicles is one of my favorite games of all time. The first Xenoblade Chronicles is... Anyway, though, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna of the Golden Country is actually a really good 8.5 out of 10 game. However, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 did everything better, obviously. We have better characters, better music, better stories, better everything, obviously. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a great game. However, it's very quest-driven, and it gets really repetitive because throughout the game, I mean, basically half of the game, about half of the 20-hour-long journey is side quests, as this game forces in side quests, which I do not like. But yeah, the game is still a pretty good 8.5 out of 10 game, but I think that it has better combat and better, well, not better combat. I like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna of the Golden Country, so I do think that the main Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has better combat, better leveling and stuff, and better everything, which Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has better stuff than that, the main Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But the Torna of the Golden Country is good. I mean, here's the thing. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did everything better than Torna did, but Torna is still a good game. But my least favorite because Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 are better, of course, and the game forces in side quests, which I don't like. But yeah, still a good game. It's 8.5 out of 10. So yeah. Alright. So next up is F-Zero, but like I said in my favorite game of every Nintendo franchise, this is the only wait, I'm about to say Xenoblade, okay. F-Zero on the SNES is the only F-Zero game I've played, so it's my favorite and my least favorite because it's the only one I've played. And like I said, my favorite game of every Nintendo franchise, it's the only one I've played, so it's my favorite and my least favorite. Let's move on. Alright, now we're on to Punch-Out, but like I said in my favorite game of every Nintendo franchise, Punch-Out, and Super Punch-Out are the only 2 out of the 3 Punch-Out games that I have played. I mean, there's only 3 Punch-Out games, and I've only played the first 2. So because I prefer Super Punch-Out, the first one's automatically my least favorite, even though it's still a good game. And still a pretty good 8 out of 10 game. Alright, so now we're on to Kirby. Now I've played basically all the mainline Kirby games, and I've not really played too much the spin-offs, but my least favorite one, including the spin-off, is Canvas Curse. This game's actually a really fun game. I played it a lot growing up, even though I never finished it. But of course, the rest of the games are better, of course, and I just prefer the rest. But yeah, still a good game, a good 8 out of 10 game. So yeah. But yeah, and this game's actually really fun, and I like how it uses the DS's touchscreen. Though I would rather play Epic Yarn or any mainline game for sure. Alright, so now we're on to Star Fox. Now I've played the original Star Fox, I've played 64, and I've played Star Fox Zero. And I actually enjoyed Star Fox Zero more than others did. A good 7.5 out of 10 game, which this one is too. So I do think that Zero is a little bit better, and I think that the 64 is definitely a 10 out of 10 game. But Star Fox, the original game, is pretty good. However, it's not as fun as the rest of the series, but it's still a fun game. It's actually a really good game, and it was a perfect way to take use of the Super FX technology of the SNES. And yeah, it's actually a really fun game, even though it is really short, like the rest of the series, so you can probably beat it in one sitting. But yeah, it's actually a good game. I prefer the others. Let's move on. Oh boy, I do not want to talk about this next one, but here we go. Alright, so Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I hate this game more than any other game in existence. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, on the other hand, is my least favorite game of all time. But why? Because it is so boring, so bare bones, and one of the worst parts? It does not feel fun. I mean, it's fun after a while, but then it gets boring quickly. And the problem is that it has very little content. And keep in mind that Nintendo originally charged this for $60 game in an Amiibo bundle. And here's the thing. And everything. This game had some good ideas. Some of the mini games are pretty fun. And yes, Desert Island Escape is a great mini game, but you can play that in New Leaf with the Welcome Amiibo update. Anyway, though, this game is just really, really boring, and I hate how they separated the mini games and from the board game, and I don't like the way it plays. It just feels like a bad Mario Party, and the thing is the fact that this. And here's the thing, the fact that this game exists horrifies me. We could have gotten a mainline Animal Crossing game on the Wii U, but no, Nintendo forced us to wait for a very long time until New Horizons, until March 2020. Keep in mind the New Leaf release in Japan in November of 2012, and the rest of the world in June 2013. They made us wait so long, they gave us a big 7-year wait until New Horizons. Ugh. And this game is just so boring, and and it doesn't feel fun. It has no charm to it. It just doesn't feel right. And yeah, and I hate how you're forced to use Amiibo. I feel like this game really did not need to exist. It's just terrible, and the gameplay just is not good at all, and it just feels boring. Basically, I mean, this game just horrifies me, and I want to erase it from existence. All right, I'm ready to move on. I'm done talking about this stupid game. Alright, so next up we have Super Smash Bros. Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Is next, the original Smash on the N64. Once again, it's a really good game, but I just prefer the others. I mean, the rest of the series is way better, but it's still a pretty good game. But the rest are way better for obvious reasons. But it's still a good game. Alright, next up is Splatoon. Now, just like with Smash Bros., this is a good game, but Splatoon 2 exists, and Splatoon 3 is coming out, and obviously those are way better. So yeah, this is a good game, but its successor and the upcoming Splatoon 3 are better for obvious reasons. Let's move on. So next up is Pikmin. And my least favorite out of the ones I've played is the first game. I've played Pikmin 1, 2, and 3, and I haven't played Hey Pikmin, even though that would be my least favorite if I did play it. Anyway, though, Pikmin 1, it's actually the best game on this list in my opinion. It's a really, really great 9 out of 10 game. I highly, highly recommend this game. However, I do think that the Pikmin 2 and 3 are way better. Pikmin 2, definitely a 9.5 out of 10 game. It's even better. It has... it does everything this game does better, and it even got rid of the time limit. And Pikmin 3, it was by far the best in the whole trilogy. That one's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10 games. So yeah, it's actually a really great game. Has started a new IP from Nintendo on the GameCube, but I do think that Pikmin 2 and 3 are better, for sure. Anyway, this is it for this video. See you guys next time. HNS out.